Excuse me. Hey, what's going on? Who we got in here?
Told her to stop.
One second, J-Dub. We'll get started here. I'm waiting for some more people to jump in. Hey, what's going on? Who we got in here? What up, Reg? What up, J-Dub? J-Dub said, ugly day. Hope we recover soon. What were some of your biggest winners and losses? Y'all want to discuss them? We can look over them. Just doing a weekly recap with everybody. I personally am just over here working on the mobile app, but I don't mind reviewing some of these trades. Looking at the markets today, I mean, it was all red, especially towards the end of the day. Looked like we were going to pull back there a little bit, but wasn't able to do so. What's up, Steven? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. You guys want to discuss some of your biggest gainers, some of your biggest losers? We can look over those. I know the market was pretty red all day. SNDL. SNDL. Let's look at her. Just to recap, XTNT would have been an excellent play today. Chris, yes. Yes, Chris, we alerted on XTNT. We've been letting it ride since, I think, July. What am I talking about? January 5th, we alerted on that stock about 129. It broke out to, I think, 540 something, $6 or something like that today. After, I think it was Orbitech disclosed that they had a large position in it. I think about 92, 94% broke out to 654. But we're gonna start, down the list. We'll go with Sandal first. I call it Sandal, SNDL. As I've been pointing out with SNDL, we need to find strong support above the 136 before we continue moving forward, and ultimately the 155 that we keep retesting. It cannot seem to stay above those levels. I know we went to 171 sometime either beginning of the week, I believe, or last week. Let me look back. 171 looks like about. Let me pull back. Yeah, there it is right there. All right, that's the 160, so I'm tripping. Let me reset my chart. My chart's tripping with me. Let's see. When was it? Yeah, right there on, that was last Friday. I was hoping that would be a strong signal, if we found support above it, but we can't seem to stay above 155 on it. So it's burning us right now. There's not much I can say beyond that. Everything got pushed down today with the markets being red ultimately. Sucks, but it's been a rough week. Typically when we hit all-time highs in the SPY, we see a pushback, maybe $4 or $5, but to be at these levels that we're at, which we've been watching and monitoring closely in our coffee and stock sessions, as some of you already know. But it's currently working hard to stay in this sideways channel right here, these two red lines you see. But then it keeps reverting back to this downward trend. Let me get rid of this line here. This downward channel. And that's where we're currently trading somewhere near the middle of it, dropped to the middle of it, right about here. But I've been alluding to that. Is what I was hoping for is ultimately we find support and ride down the top of it at least. We'd be higher than my projections of 368 in the long run. But it keeps breaking down here. We can't find that support above the 381, and it's just pressing down on all the other stocks. To look at XTNT a little bit more, though, like I said, we alerted on that back on January 5th. At 129, it jumped up to 466. I think we're currently up. I can look over here. Let's see. XTNT currently up 261%. On that trade alert. Nice trade. Enjoyed it. At its top, though, it was at 410%. That's when it was still trading around 5. That's when it hit 654. But looking to find that support that it seems to be working on that 445 to continue moving forward. So hopefully we can going into next week. Hopefully the pullback's not too hard. Socket Mobile's been running pretty pretty strong, I'd say. Not heavy. Pretty strong yesterday, but broke down through yesterday's market. It bounced up to 1851 at its peak, but now we're back in that green buy zone area. Good time to load up here. I think the stock's going to perform, very well as long as this downward pressure gets out of the way from the rest of the market. So that's, all you can do is find better buying opportunities in this, and I want that to be, confidence in everybody to reallocate their portfolios accordingly. Some people are saying to average down, and at this point I wouldn't disagree with it. I typically don't average down. I stick strong to my entry points if they come back down that way. I understand the point of averaging down, but you're also risking more if it continues to pull down, and with the SPY having this pressure pushing down on these stocks like that, it's kind of riskier now more than ever to try to average down on some of these. So it's just, make sure you're highly confident in stocks that you do average down on, and that you pay attention to how they react to these market pullbacks. Of course, across the board, everything is reacting, but some things aren't even bouncing back up, and that's what I mean by that. So, some of the ones that pull back strong and don't bounce back, you might want to reallocate that money in a better opportunity. Don't get stuck in one opportunity and miss another. Another one is PLTR. I've been monitoring that one for, I want to say, like 2 weeks, and trying to predict its current price action. As you can see, I've been very strong on identifying some of these levels. I said that we would potentially retest that 25.90, but over the course of this past week, we've actually retested the 22.95. I was hoping to find that support above 25.90 for an entry, which I'm not in right now. So, but as long as we stay above 22.95, these are the bottoms here at these levels. It seems like we're finding strong support. And most of these stocks that we have brought up in our coffee and stock sessions, most of the stocks that we continue to discuss moving forward. And it's all about, not simply focusing just on one certain list of stocks, but just basically tracking the trades in and out of them so we can learn better. I said it earlier this morning that I want to start kind of stepping up the things that we're bringing into the trading sessions so that we can start developing more complex strategies. I just wanted to take my time. I didn't want to, bum rush through a bunch of stuff and you're not able to retain anything that I'm trying to offer you, plus anything anybody else has to say. So, give your feedback on any of these trades. If you feel like I'm missing something that is important at any time, feel free to add in the comments so everybody can learn together. And that's what this is about at Millennial Investments, even at Investors Talk on our Discord, stuff like that. Average 26, hoping it bounces. You're down about what, 225, give or take. So at 26, that's about, doing the math at the top of my head, close to what, 6 to 12% or something like that. I'm not going to try to be a mathematician live right now, but FCell Reg, I think, is a great opportunity to buy into it, just as well as PLTR. And Plug, FCell, I think, sitting around, where is it at, 16.94 right now. We have some shares in FCell. We actually alerted on FCell back in December or something like that when it was still at 851. So we've actually capitalized off of the run up on FCell to those peaks that we've seen in the 20s. Right there at that 29.39 is where we exited once we saw that strong rejection up there. We scalped on the way up, but once we saw that rejection there, we completely came out of the trade, looked for a better opportunity. We're actually looking to we placed a position. Our price average now is actually 1707, so we're currently down about 13 cents. What's up, Nick? Glad to have you here. What's up, Steven? What's up, Chris? What's up, Reg? J-Dub? I already spoke to you all, but what's up anyways? Thank you all for joining us, taking the time out of your day to conversate about potential opportunities for everybody. Thank you for all y'all's support for the channel and what we're able to establish here. Sorry I missed coffee and stocks. How do you feel about Expo? You asked me about that, and with my birthday being this week and just everything recovering from the storm from last week and stuff, I've been meaning to get back with you. So we'll take the time to go ahead and review that in this trading session right now. I'm not really looking at too many stocks that I want to necessarily push out. I do want to recommend CCIV. I think it's at a great buying zone. Actually got into the trade today about $30.99, and I have an option on it that I bought first thing this morning. And it's been resilient, even though the market's pulling back. It's pulling back with it a little bit, but thank you, J-Dub. Appreciate it. But it's pulled back a little bit and stuff like that. But, long term, I have about 21 days on the option trade. I have a $65 call on CCIV. I think it's a strong play. The fact that they're directly competing with Tesla, I know a lot of people think that's like David to Goliath, but the space is wide open. What's up, Antoine? Glad to have you here, man. Glad to have everybody here. Thank you all for being here. Looking at FCell though, I think it's a great entry point right here as long as we stay above that 1549 that I identified earlier in the week. And we hold strong with most of these stocks that we are finding entry. 1670, that's good, and just to add to that, what we want to do now that we have these price averages around the 1675s to the 17s, we want to see it get above that 2094 and we can just let that thing ride, but Tesla's weighing down strong on the EV market overall, and that's what we ultimately have to watch. And I feel like Bitcoin's weighing down on it, the fact that Bitcoin's coming back. So we'll look at all those as we go through these one by one. Ultimately wrap up with the review. That's what this is about. We have our coffee and stock sessions every morning. I know everybody's not able to join, so I thought, it's Friday, markets close. We can sit back, ease our mind, take on the hits we took from the week, and just prepare for next week. Of course, we're going to have our coffee and stock sessions tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time if you want to join us. Where we continue focusing on some of these trades for people that aren't able to be here right now. But plug coming down, broke this level of support that I was looking for. I can't remember why I was identifying that purple line we see right here. I was looking for it to keep support above it, but I'm gonna remove that for now because it doesn't really correlate with the rest of the price action. But that 37.26, I'm not sure if anybody has a position in this and what your price averages are. If you want to add it in the comments or the chats, excuse me, feel free to let me know. But one thing that we are discovering are these strong support levels that do exist for these stocks, and the fact that the old support levels are becoming that level of resistance now. So we're seeing that support to resistance reversal, and we have to break back above these. Even with Tesla, it's doing the same thing. We have to break back above these newly found resistance levels in order to steam ahead. And I think it's really a churning time. Everything's churning right now, so you're finding lower price points. Some of these things are bouncing $2-3. You can find perfect entries into them to position yourself for the longer term hold once things kind of reverse as far as the overall market and sentiment. We've been tracking the markets. We'll look at that again to see how the markets moved today. Identify some things that can lead into next week. GME lowest dip today, back to $99, huh? I actually had a battle with some people on StockTwits last night. They were trolling my post on there, and they're mad at me because I just started this YouTube channel or whatever. And nobody wants to listen to me, but it's never been about me. It's been about us here, and I know that you all understand that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. And they don't understand that because they're not a part of it. But I was trying to warn people about AMC, which I'll look at next. The fact that it was having some issues around the $11 area, flatlined pretty much at those levels and bounced back below the 782 support level. I think going into market close after hours yesterday, it did bounce to $9 today. I give them that credit, and somebody should have been able to capitalize gains. But the issue is people are holding on to these things and not snatching their profits. I would ride the swings, man. But that's me personally. Everybody has their own trading strategy and requirements and stuff like that, so I'm not going to comment on that much more. But yeah, as with GameStop, if I expected this to traditionally continue moving, I said that we needed to stay above the 113, but of course volatility is too strong. The meme stock traders are too strong or too weak even for that matter. And I think this was more of a bear trap, more from the hedge funds than anything, and it was a setup. It's kind of crazy how all this started right at 3:30 yesterday after hours, or the day before, whenever it was. We can look at it to be precise. Like I said, I had a lot going on. So the 25th, that was yesterday. Yeah. Or no, the 24th is when it started, after hours. And we saw those spikes in these meme stocks. But I feel like it was a bear trap. Once we started hitting these levels of resistance that were identified in the beginning, I feel like we were just going to go straight down from there. And that's kind of what happened here. So, I see you're still up $100, man. Good. If anybody makes money off of it, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. But to hold this long term and thinking that you're not going to lose money in that process due to what's going on in that battle that's going on, you're getting caught in between the crossfire. So it's better to make better opportunities, such as your F cells, your plugs, your PLTRs. I saw FSR boom today. Crazy, like, let's see. FSR currently sitting at $28. Especially after we retested that 24.27 going into today's trading session, it just took off. That's another EV play I need to add to the list for us to keep reviewing moving forward. Seeing where our consolidation levels are going to be. I'm hoping we find support now above that 24.27, and we're able to continue using that as a launch pad if we do retrace off of this. I'm not saying that it is. I don't know if there was any news released on it either. I can look real quick while we're sitting here talking about it, but let's see if there's anything that came out outside of price analysis and stuff like that and expectations on price. I'm not seeing anything company specific outside of people raising their price targets to like $40. Some had $29, and this coming from like Morgan Stanley and stuff like that. And that's kind of what was the launch for FSR today. What else we got in the list? Make sure we went over everything you guys wanted to look at. FSL, plugs, CCIV, Wall Street Bets pumped CCIV. They keep spamming it on Reddit. They're gonna keep doing that, man. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I understand their mission. I agree with their mission, but we've been living in this way for so long now. I don't see anything changing anytime soon. One thing I do want to point out about FSR that caught my attention is I need to change that to a support level right there around that 2045 because we're bouncing strong off of it, but it was a previous level of resistance twice before it did a triple top and bounced up. So and then you see it fell back right on that. So I'm expecting the same thing. We might fall back to the 24, 27 and find some great entries into it. So something to keep an eye on. If any of you guys want any of these, at least a screenshot of this, or I can publish it, where you can actively see how it's trending on TradingView on these key levels that we're identifying. Then I can do that. Just let me know which symbols you want, and I'll share you my analysis so you can have it, bookmark it somewhere, and access it later to see how it's trading moving forward. But we've been kind of spot on with these, is what I want to point out, and why I feel like this is important. A lot of people look for the different type of symbols that are setting up and stuff like that, but I focus mainly on just our horizontal price ranges that we're trading in, and that helps me better identify my own entries into some of these stocks, and in order to make better entries and optimize my profits. A lot of people are quick to just buy a stock real quick, just jump it in and let it run, but I'm looking for the best opportunity in this stock, and I'd much prefer it's hard to say this, but it's almost like you got to weigh out missing the opportunity and add more risk, or finding a better entry and optimizing your profit gains while lowering your risk. That's my mission. So with every trade I make. But anyways, I will go over some trades that we re-pushed out. Some of our premium members, I believe, are already in it, so I don't mind looking at them. But before we do that, let's look at the overall market again. See what the SPY is doing after hours. Like I said, we're still trading in this downward channel. It's coming back to it that it was currently trading in, so it's reluctant to let go of it. I was hoping that we could break out of it by trading in this sideways channel here, but we are currently still in our long-term trend overall. Very healthy in that aspect as far as continuing to move up. We did break above it before, but as you can see, we're currently in it. And based off of that, we could see this come back. We've already seen this come back to the 380s, but it can continue trending sideways to about this 383 and before it bounces up again, and we see it above, the 395 all-time highs that we've seen before. Any other stocks you guys want to look at that you're looking for opportunities into? I also want to pull up Bitcoin to see what it's doing, because it seems to be weighing down on the market. We got a lot of crypto plays in play now, like your MARAs, your Maras, what I call it, your Riots. I have a Bitcoin list that I'm setting up. If there's any symbols I don't have on it, feel free to let me know. I haven't really dug into all of them, as I've been more focused on the EV plays more than anything. So what we identified at the beginning of the week was this sideways channel that Bitcoin has been trading in, and it's been trying to break out of it. Found some resistance at this 51,415, and why I have that identified as green is I was looking for it to break above that as it attempted to, and if we found that support, I expected it to launch back to 57.8, but it didn't do that. It actually rebounded off of that, and that's the same thing that we're seeing with most stocks in the market now, is that these sideways channels are getting put in place, and it's just sideways trading. But it's very important that over the weekend we don't see some large dropout on Bitcoin, because that's going to weigh down on a lot. It seems the market's following crypto more than ever, with larger institutions getting involved in it and stuff like that. Tesla specifically having their stake in it. But if we break that, which we are breaking that 45,768, and we don't rebound back above it, then we're looking at going back to 40,000, which we would expect to find strong support above that, hopefully. I've been holding naked. Is that what you're talking about? NAKD? Naked actually burned me. I saw it swinging, and I pushed an alert on it at like 183, and uh, hasn't traded. It it went back to those levels, of course, but it's been having issues getting above that 148. And I was looking for support on that to bounce off of to the upside and retest 217 and get out of the trade. Um, didn't do that. It did rebound though. It did, and we let people know that we rebounded, but I was expecting it to break through with the momentum that it had at that time. So I didn't catch it like I wanted to. Mistake on my part. I'm not always going to be perfect or act like I make the best decisions all the time. But I had a lot of hope in Naked with how it's been performing. You've been holding it since 63 cents. I mean, bro, you're sitting fat. You're sitting green. You're almost still up 100%. And to be honest with you, like, people might not agree with this strategy, and that's fine with me. But I have a theory that if one of my positions jumps 100%, then I'm gonna cut half of my position out to recover or secure my initial investment risk. That way, I'm free trading, is what I call it. So I'm not sure if you agree with that. Most people think I'm crazy for saying stuff like that, but you can allocate that money somewhere else while your profits are continuing to make you money. And with trades that we've done that, we've seen them jump 100%, and then they run another 100% up, so you're already up again, you know. But anyways, what are you looking at over the weekend for potential Monday pickups for the week? That's what I was gonna get to, Ray. Reg, I'm sorry. I was gonna kind of give you guys some ideas of things that we found new opportunities in, that we previously had positions in that ran like 50-60% but pulled back. Some ran 100-200% but pulled back, and they're back down to like their 60% levels from when we initially initiated the trades and stuff like that. And so I wanted to bring them back around for re-entries for people that didn't have the opportunity to get in them on the first run. Some of those include, let's see, OTLK is one of them. OTLK is currently finding strong support on the 207. I'm not expecting it to go all the way back up to 426 or even 362. And I'm not saying it won't either. I'm just saying, like, realistically, what I'm targeting in this trade is that 275 sweet spot. And I think that's somewhere around 30% on the trade or something like that I'm targeting. Is that right? 60 cents or so. So let me do the math real quick. Yeah, like 30-40% on the trade is all I'm going after. And that's typically all I'm looking for is like a 10-20% swing, and I'm happy with that because it's almost two times the amount of what you average on an annual basis in trading. And as long as we can secure 10-20% at least, I mean, it's positive. You have 10% growth at least if you were to capitalize on 10% trades. So it's the ones that break out much further than that that I focus on. And even getting an OTLK right now and it bounced to the 240, you're still up 10%, you know. And if everything's trading in these sideways channels, even if it bounces back down, you can exit the trade, jump back in at those lower price levels, run it back up to 241, another 10%, just bang, bang, bang. Do that 10 times, you got the same investment. If it does it 10 times, I'm just being hypothetical, of course. You have the same investment for free, and you can just let it sit there at that point. It all depends on how the markets go into the next week. If we're going to have a lot of churn sideways, if we're going to have some gap downs, gap ups, that's what I'm looking for. So I went ahead and got in OTK. I actually got in at 210 for 947 shares, already up 2%. Not much, but you know, it's moving that direction to retest that 241, which actually I'll gain like 31 cents. So that's near 15% if I hit 241 for me, but I'm going for that 275. So we're looking at the 30-35% price range. Some more that I'm looking at is a new trade. Let's see, where is that? I got in the FSL at 1707, like I said. I got in the CCIV at 30.99. I want to see where it's trading at right now since I'm in the position. It's at 30.60. So you could probably get a better position than I could. I might average down on it because I want to identify something about CCIV and why I went ahead and got into it. Because I actually did a review on it Monday, stating sell the news basically, and it basically tanked before the news even came out on the stock. But if I could get rid of my drawings, then you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We're in a very strong compression zone based on the EMAs that I'm looking at. And I think we're about to break out heavy. And we had to break around I think it's the $35 price level right here, $35.50 or so. And if it does, then I'm shooting for it to go to 41 at least and find some resistance there. But I'll pull out of the trade because that's at least 30% on the swing. And I'm only going to pull out probably 50 to 60% of my, not even that, 15 to 20% of my position, just to secure some of those gains that I get off of it. And then I'll watch it. If it ladders down, then I'll start chipping away, scalping down on the way down to secure more of those profits. But I'll add some more indicators in here that actually caught my eye. The 4 hour is looking so sweet on this stock. So sweet. Just ready to explode. Strong support at that 2670 level. And I'm thinking it's going to go. Another one, like I said, I got in the F cell at 1707. Not as good of a setup as I would like, but I'm comfortable with it. We got into Mogo. Mogo is a crypto play as well, but it's an online payment system. They just incorporated Google Pay, Apple Pay, and Samsung Pay into their systems. And they allow Canadians to purchase. They actually allow you, to buy Bitcoin and cryptos on their platform now. And from January to February, they saw a 300% spike in cryptocurrency transactions on their platform. They have a lot of news. Do your research on it. But we alerted on the stock a while back, actually. It was back in December on the 15th when it was at 318. And it's still up 135%, but it reached at its peak. We were up like 235% tops at the top side when it hit 1186. And that's when we exited. So we re-entered the stock here around 787, currently sitting at 783, so not too far down. But we think this is a long-term growth stock. A good play to be in. Strong uptrend that it's trading in now. Continuing to look forward for that movement to the upside. I mean, there's so much good news in this company. I could sit here for days almost just picking apart their news, their live news. I mean, they just closed $54 million registered direct offering, which was some of the cause of the pullback. It immediately rose 15% after they stated that news. There was something that stood out to me earlier. Is Carter worldwide is expanding into the U.S. will deploy card products for initial group of clients in Q1 2021. Expects further expansion of customer base. Expands. Let's see what else. Announces strategic investment in CoinSquare, Canada's leading digital asset trading platform. Let's see what I mean. It just keeps going, man. Bitcoin has lifted stocks with the crypto that came after Tesla announced their Bitcoin investment. Carter worldwide just expanded into Japan at the beginning of February. I mean, they're spreading, man. Highlights over 300% increase in Bitcoin transaction volume in January to February. And they just recently purchased and acquired Carta worldwide on January 21st. But I mean, it just goes back on and on. Shareholder approvals for its acquisition of that company that we just stated. I'm just picking apart this some more for you guys. But I mean, I'm not going to bore everybody with it too long and keep going on and on about this one stock, but it's a very strong stock to be in. Oh yeah, you asked Nick. Once again, you asked about XSPA, and I wanted to review it with you. I'm glad we're doing it live, so you can kind of see what I was seeing. As soon as you brought it up to my attention, I saw this setup starting to form, and that's what I've been paying attention to. It's currently heavily oversold on the 4 hour. We can go a little bit deeper into the 1 hour, and it's still oversold on those levels. I would wonder why it's getting so much pressure to the downside. I was watching them back when COVID hit, and basically looking at what they were doing. I think they were doing like tests in their spas, which are located in most airports and stuff like that at the beginning. But current news on them, they are to provide COVID-19 testing facilities at international airports. So yeah, they're still pushing the same thing. But I'm trying to figure out where and why they started losing traction here, because they announced all this information on the 18th, but I'm not seeing what's causing it to come down at all. Signs contract with Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority for express check COVID-19 testing facilities at duties. I think overall, like, as the COVID pandemic dies, the need for things like this will too. So, I mean, it'll be here for at least another year and a half. It's already seen just by the fact that people aren't doing what they need to do. Vaccines are taking a little bit longer than we expected. Vaccines that we were expecting to come to market are not reaching the efficacy level as expected, but we are adding more as we go. I think J&J was just releasing them. So as you see more and more vaccines hit the market, you'll see less and less, I guess you could say, needs for tests as people start becoming immune to it. Just something to think about. You know, I want you to think about. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I'm no expert with COVID-19 or nothing like that. But that's just things that I think about when I look at these types of stocks, especially these COVID-19 plays. More shorter term on these than anything. But with XSPA, like, I think you're buying it at a very cheap price, with which you are with most stocks. So I'm not sure if you have a position in it at all, Nick, if you could let me know that. But I think it's a good play, especially and that's something else we have to consider in that evaluation of XSPA, is the fact that more variants of the COVID-19 disease are popping up. It seems like every day a new country has a new one, which is understood because it's going to mutate as we continue going through the process of the whole pandemic. So it's a tug of war thing to me, because with every new strand, we have to make sure that the vaccines we have on market are able to combat them and things to that nature. So, but let's do some analysis on it, if anything, and then I'll do some fundamentals on it as well. One thing that sticks out to me is some key levels I'd like to identify first. A strong bullish signal in this stock would have been around the 209. If it found support on this downward trend right there, I would have been happy with it to say go ahead. It is setting up very strong on the 4 hour though, but that can change in a matter of hours, literally. As you can see, the 1 hour is showing downward signals on the MACD, and still under those EMAs, is trading under the EMAs, is what I mean by the downward movement. As long as it's trading below this 13 EMA, until we start seeing that connect back with the 34, that's when I would start looking for a breakout. Until that point, I would wait for an entry in it, me personally. To identify another level that sticks out to me immediately is right here, is at 175. So if anything, if it stays above that 175 range, anything between that and 209 is a great buy zone, is my recommendation, and how I would trade it. And what I'll do is, to put my money where my mouth is, if it stays above that 175, which is currently at 174, if it stays above 175 going into Monday, if it doesn't gap down below those support levels, or that may be due to the market gapping down too though, but if it doesn't, then I'll put a position in it. And if I put a position in it, let's see what that would be around too while I'm talking about it. Northern Dynasty, I bought at 96 or 63 cents. Stock symbol is NAK. I'm sorry, man, I was looking at the completely wrong stock. Before I even start looking into companies, I see how their charts are moving. And the thing that sticks out to me the most is the fact that it's landing on the 71 cent levels. Penny stocks are very volatile, quick to fall, lose support and stuff of that nature. But the reason that's so key to me is because there was one support here and then became resistance at least 3 times before it finally swung, having to build strong momentum to get above it. And now we're sitting on top of it. So that's great, but we're showing downward pressure to the downside where we could potentially lose support and break back down. And if we do, then we're coming back potentially. Let me see where I would put this. I'm trying to see where it correlates with the price the most. Let me move my indicators out. Bring that drawing back in, but let's see if we hold above that 60-cent level, if it does even break below 71. So, but you know, great buy zone in that area if we can't stay above that. So I see some people jumped off. I'm pretty sure it's afternoon. Things have to be done. Who all is still with us? If you don't mind me asking. If you can just drop your name in the chat, or hello, or I'm here, or whatsoever. Da 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 da. I know there's a delay in the video too. Also, I want to add something too to this while I'm waiting for y'all to respond. Nick, are you still here? Still here, J-Dub. What positions you got, J-Dub? Let's look at your positions. So we can kind of share an idea of what to expect. Of course, man. If y'all have any other positions you're currently seeing, and even if they're in the red, they don't have to be the best plays in the world. We can look at them and basically just collectively go over them as we always have been here. Would you hold NAK? You're at 63? You said you're at 63 on it? Ose, you're in here? Okay. I didn't even know that. I forgot you can comment on the chat. So Ose, if you want to hit me up in Facebook, and that way I can respond to you that way. Because I know you're having issues with subscribing or something like that. XPI 193. Where was the XPI at when we last looked at it? What's your NAK position? You said 63, right? I think you're pretty sweet. As long as it stays above that $71 level, just let it run, man. As soon as it breaks down, though, then watch for it to hit that 60. That would be my recommendation, or how I would trade it. I'd give it some headroom. You know, don't be too strict on it. With it being a penny stock and stuff, they're volatile half the time. So, EBIX, we looked at this in coffee and stocks. Oh, yeah, we had a gap down here. Did you buy it on this gap down, J-Dub? I'm hoping so. Or was it from back in, what is that, mid-November when you got into it? EBX also, EBIX, or EBEX, if I can give it a nickname. This was a company that had a lawsuit against them, right? If I'm correct. And I was saying I was kind of worried about that. And I believe, I thought we looked over this. Let's look at the lower time frame. Yeah, bought in and gap down. It looks like it's idle because I believe this was the company that had the lawsuit come out on them here recently. Yeah, class action lawsuit. I don't know. Did you buy this simply because it was a gap down? I think you said you bought it because it was a gap down and you thought it was BS, basically, regarding the lawsuit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hopefully it's BS. I got you, yeah. And that's what you're playing off of this. $26 price level. Can you give me the date you bought it by chance? Because then we can kind of track it, your actual position. I can use a tool in here to actually track the position, but I think it's going to stay sideways for some time until that lawsuit, clears up. That's what I think. Because their news is riddled with it. People probably going after them, down 39% on auditor resignation, and their accounting company left them as well, and then they had this lawsuit. The accounting company was basically stating that there were some funny things about their books, and then company invested by the Portner law firm. I'm just reading some news real quick. Securities class action lawsuit that has been filed. Making sure it's not multiple lawsuits here. And really, it's only people that lost greater than $100,000 too. So for smaller people, I guess you can call it, that don't hold $100,000 in a company, it really won't matter, the lawsuit, but it will make a large difference on an institutional level, and they can basically pull out of this very strong, and you can see this drop. Now, it also depends on, if their stock price is currently sitting at what their company is actually valued at, based on the amount of assets and liquidity they have on hand compared to their debt and liability. So that's probably why we're seeing it kind of trade sideways, and it didn't really dip too much further than where it's at. It's something to think about too. The 1 hour is showing a swing, potential swing to the upside. It's tried to bounce back up. I bet. You say you bought it 3 days ago. That would have been the 23rd. So it would have been like right around this area in the morning. Did you buy it on this green candle? Is that where you're going after? I'm guessing that's what it looks like. I would initiate a trade thinking that it was going to rebound. But I mean, it's just been driven down since. 22.77. Actually, I want to adjust that to the 23.24. If it goes below 23.24, get out of the trade is how I would do it. Don't risk too much more money. If it goes below that, see where it drops and how long it holds at those levels, and then potentially you're getting it for a cheaper price anyways. You can capture missing profits that you would have missed if you didn't get into that entry. Antoine, I see you in here. You got any trades you want to look over, man? Or if you're still here, Osei, hit me up in Facebook group if you want to look at some trades or share trades with other people. I know you pretty much got your stuff sewed up pretty well, but if you want to share some of your trades, anybody for that matter, with everybody else, just let me know. Nicholas, you said you're at XPA at 393. Let me see where that sits in this. Same thing for you, bro. To be honest with you, this probably would have been a support level that I would have paid attention to, was the 178, and the fact that it broke down hard below that would have been a trigger, a sell sign. But I think we actually determined our support level off of previous price action here, which is around the 175, and you're only a penny below it. So just see how it gaps up or down in pre-market Monday. Antoine, I don't see anything here on Facebook, but of course my Facebook's been tripping here lately, like my Messenger app. So let me pull up the actual website, but I don't see anything in there, Antoine. Check my messages here. Add them here. Just put them in the chat here, and I'll review them from that. Yeah, nothing showing up for me, man. The ones I sent you haven't even started trading yet. Huh? Are they ones about to hit the market? Are you talking about those IPOs you were looking at the other day, like Roblox and stuff like that? Is that the one we were talking about? Also, something new that I did while I'm waiting for that answer. Is I started looking at like the top 10 micros that are performing every day, the top 10 small caps, and then the top 10 mid caps. And I want to review, I'm going to keep a list of those to go. Apple sold right before market close. You had Apple, J-Dub? I'm speaking all in my mic. I'm sorry, guys. You had Apple, is what you're saying? Because we were looking at Apple the other day. Somebody had brought it up. And we looked at some levels. We needed to stay above the 123, and with all the pressure to the downside. I'm not sure what the NASDAQ was. Oh, yeah, yeah. Roblox. Looking forward to Roblox myself. Oscar Health. And Coinbase. But to finish up with Apple real quick, before I get to Antoine's IPOs that he's basically bringing up. Apple, where did the NASDAQ end today? Was it red? It was actually the only green market, green future in the market today. So I would have hoped that would have helped Apple push up. What was your price average on Apple, by the way? But I mean, it's just having issues getting above that 123. I recall hearing some like reports on this, on why it's trading lower and stuff like that. But I identified that based off of this right here. The fact that it was once resistance and now it's support, and now you can see it's becoming new resistance here. So just a level to pay attention to. It's currently trading at 121.98, $2, $1.50 below that resistance level, but we need to see it above that. It does look like this is compression to me. Compression meaning it could either do one of two things, bounce up or down. 127. I mean, it's Apple, so you're buying a very long-term growth stock pretty cheap at 120 levels. Because if we look at it from a weekly standpoint, and identify those trends, I mean, it's trading like the SPY is, if you ask me. Almost identical type trend here. But something occurred right here where we broke that that lower end level of support, and that's why we're seeing this strong price action to the downside. So even if we bounce up here, I'm pretty sure this previous level of support is going to be the top line resistance, and if that is the case, it's going to be hard to try to like identify this the way I'm about to, because how I would do it is like this. I would create that channel, but this would basically do a three-pronged channel for us to kind of determine how the stock's going to trade moving forward. But this bottom line will have to be adjusted moving forward. Let me get rid of some of these indicators so we can actually see what I'm talking about. But I'm expecting it to have a new channel somewhat to this nature moving higher if it does, unless it breaks below that, now that we're losing the support level at these top lines to the downside, and then potentially retracing back to that 114 area. Smart glasses, got you. What, are you going to be able to visually see things like mobile apps and stuff on your glasses? I haven't really researched that. I need to. It sounds interesting. But yeah, so with these IPOs, Coinbase, I think, is a strong play just because of the liquidity that goes through Coinbase and how many people actually choose to use that for their crypto investing platform. You'll win off focusing on performance numbers as based on like transactions, because that's where they get paid, and they charge a lot on transactions compared to a lot of other platforms. So it's very important to pay attention to their transactional growth in their earnings report once they hit the market. If you want to own a crypto exchange, that is one. There is an Ethereum crypto exchange that you can buy. I think it's like $25 a share right now. It's called Exodus, EXODUS. And you can open an account with them. I don't think you even have to deposit anything with them. All right, Nick, I got you on SNDL. We'll look at it again. We looked at it earlier, but I don't mind looking at it again. Like I said, I was sitting here building my mobile app, and I thought, why not do a weekly recap since I haven't pushed out any videos today. I haven't really talked to too many people. I've been taking care of other business and focused on this mobile app so I can deliver this information a little bit better. So I was like, I'm going to be coding my mobile app, I'm going to go ahead and hop on this live chat with you guys so we can look at whatever you guys want to look at. It's not necessarily about what I want to look at. It's about what we all want to look at. But anyways, Exodus is another one to look into, EXOUDUS, and you can actually find the information to start investing in their IPO now, I believe. It's like $25 a share, but it's a very strong Ethereum exchange. It's dedicated solely to Ethereum. Of course, Bitcoin is on there, and a few different Bitcoins, I believe, or Bitcoin-based cryptos are on there. Excuse me, I'm trying to get that out. But it's really centered around Ethereum and what's going on with those coins. But once again, all based on transactional growth. Once all that begins to be reported, Roblox is a kids fan favorite. I think it's amazing what they're doing. It's a game with like thousands of games customized and customly built through, whether it's kids building them or whatever. I don't know who builds these games, but I know my kids play it. 3 out of 4 of my kids play it, and they do it religiously. And they're always asking to buy these Robux, and it's like Fortnite was for kids, but a platform with thousands of different games. So something to look into for sure. And I was interested in as soon as I heard they were doing the IPO. So, and then you have another one, Oscar Health. I want to look into what they do before I speculate anything on them, Antoine. You want to look at SNDL? We can look again. See how it's trading after hours. Currently at 133. Let me zoom in a little bit on it. Sorry, guys. Open up this a little bit. Close this over here. Like I was telling everybody earlier, I think you hopped on a little bit late, Nick. SNDL really needs to find strong support. Stay above 133 if we expect it to continue going long term at the growth rate that we expect it to. We're looking at 313, I think, was our price target on it. We initially alerted on SNDL when it was at 52 cents, so we're still up like 130, 140% on the trade with that initial position. But I've been doing personal long-term option contracts on it, buying at $1 strikes, so I'm already deep in 36 cents in the money. Not deep in the money, I once was, but like I said, it really needs to get above that 155 and find the support, but it's having issues getting above that. It'll break out above it and then get rejected at the 177 or 171. So 2 key levels to pay attention to, or 3 even if you want to add the low level of support, and that's being the 136, staying at or around those levels. And then once we break out, how it reacts to that 155, as you saw it break out, that looks like Tuesday, and we were up at like 166, 169, and then we actually got rejected. Went into pre-market the next day. It was below 155 again, tried to break above it and just died. Of course, that occurred when all the meme stocks blew up the other day, right at 3:30, 4 o'clock, before after our session started. And ever since then, it just idled out and lost steam in that push. Tried bouncing again. I'm not saying it didn't. It went to like 140, 145, but now we're at 136. But like I said, ultimately, we need to confirm strong support above 171. So if somebody wants to call up Wall Street Bets and let them know to put it up above those price levels, then I think that'll be a signal for all investors that this is going to continue running. But then we're going to have strong resistance around the 228. But I think the momentum from being above and finding support above 171 will be the momentum, the push it needs to go through that 228 with ease. Slice through it like cheese, basically, and push to those 304s. There's some other plays I've been wanting to pay attention to. Is like TLRY. I said that it was coming back down. If we broke the $28 price level, it was coming back 21. It did when the markets pulled back. You got huge. I want you to know all your aspects in the weed market. And there's actually a ETF that we discussed the other day. I can't remember the symbol, but I'd look it up, which will allow you to have diversity in all of these weed stocks versus just focusing on one. So you have OCG, I believe, is the symbol. Yeah, Oriental Culture. You have OGI. I'm sorry. Correct myself. You have Canopy. What is Canopy's? CGC. CGC's pretty strong one. Flatlining though at this 3270. I think it's a strong buy zone right here on this one, if you ask me. I know I've been focused solely on like TLRY and SNDL, and I'm trying to diversify my outlook a little bit more and analyze some of these stocks on a fundamental basis and identify the best performing fundamental business, and that's what I'm going to put long term. A lot of people are focused on things like SNDL because it's such a low price point, but I mean, you got things like Huge, Alpha is another one, Aferia, or however you pronounce it. I'm not going to whole grammar class on that, but anyways, long-term trend looking strong, but we are breaking some support levels just like everything else is, but long-term trend looking good. Of course, this is going to be the merger with TLRY, and that's why I've been focused on it as our larger stock price we play. Once these merge, I think they're going to take off, so pay attention to that merger. But it's finding support around that 1784 with resistance being right around this area. I mean, the 1784 that it's sitting on, actually. But sticking to its long-term trend, so good play here. I don't know if it's too late to buy the news. But I still think this will run before the merger comes. Looking at something that caught my attention that I wanted everybody to be aware of is Workhorse. And why so is because Workhorse was, I think I discussed this a little bit in our coffee and stock sessions, but I know some people weren't here. I want to create a position on Clever Leaves. What's the stock symbol on it? I'll look it up right now. $13. Yeah, I've been building a list for wheat stocks too, for coffee and stock sessions, so we can keep up with all these. Do I have CGC? I have OGI. I don't have Aferia on there, or misspelled that. There it is. Let's look at Clever and what it's doing before I get into Workhorse. Fairly new stock, which is a concern to me, because if I were to look up their analytics, give me 1 second. But newer stocks that hit the market, it's hard to find their financials, or at least they're not readily available. Like when I'm looking on my trading platform, and that bothers me. I don't mind digging though. Okay, sorry. But anyways, we'll do a trend analysis on it. You're looking at buying it. You haven't bought a position, so we can kind of go in here and identify some levels with it, to give you a better idea of what to expect, what to look for if the stock were to, lower below the position you make. Support level to watch with is at 1234. They want to grow out of Colombia, so to grow will be the cheapest. That's nice. I like that. Looking at it from a technical standpoint, though, pay attention at 1234. So even if you were to get into the trade now, let's see what happens. You know what? I'm gonna watch how it opens Monday, and if it opens well enough, even if it gaps down a little bit and it bounces off that 1234, I'll hop in this with you. And I'm actually what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a few different things. I'm going to have an option portfolio. I'm going to have a longer term growth portfolio. I'm going to have a Wii portfolio set up. I'm going to have an EV play that's split up in 3 different portfolios. And then I'm going to have a swing trading portfolio. So I'll have the swing trading and stuff like that. That's all going to be on our platform if you're not already on there. We do have free memberships, so I'm not saying you have to pay anything for it. But to get access to all of that, it does require the premium. But I will share some of that information for you, with you, if you're on our coffee and stock sessions. I'll bring them up. I won't be able to identify what we're in and what we're out, though. I can do that on a personal account. But I like the setup here. Let's look at our momentum indicators real quick. And if you guys would go ahead and let me know if there's any other stocks you want to look at, because I just wanted to catch up with everybody. Let me know what your top gainers and top losers were this week, and we can review them real quick. We need more Jack. Excuse me. Talking to my wifey. How do you join? You will find a link in the description below, but I can send you a direct link. Or here, I can actually add it here. We're actually building our mobile app, so I've recently pulled back on pushing anything because I wasn't able to monitor it like I have been, but the mobile app is coming to a close. Oh man, it messed up my stuff. Why did it do that? Give me a second, let me fix that. I don't know why. Oh Jesus, what is it doing? Oh no, it's right. Let me make sure. What? Oh yeah. Yeah, YouTube's gonna ask you if you want to leave the site or whatever. You can, the link's in the chat if you guys are interested. But what was I talking about? I lost track. Oh yeah, let's talk about our top losers, top gainers, man. Let's be upfront and transparent. I know I lost off Neo. I had some strong calls on it, but Tesla pulled back on it strong. I know I lost on trying to go back through my trades through this week. I'd have to look at my trade tracker. Give me a second, I'll pull that up. Yeah, also, just so that doesn't happen for anybody else, we offer a premium trade tracker with our premium memberships. We also offer a due diligence database. We have daily trade discussions. We actually have a member on our team that actually does due diligence, but you're also able to contribute to it yourself. So if there's something that you're very confident about that you want to share with someone else and they don't seem too confident about it, you can just share that link with them. If you guys need the link to the tutorial on how to access our due diligence database, I can shoot that over to you as well. It's pretty simple. Let me see. Pull that out too. But yeah, some more plays that we're looking at. I'm actually going through our entire playlist, all the alerts that we've pushed out since, and trades that we've made since end of November till now, that have Jamia. I thought Jamia was actually performing well, Jay. Actually, I was paying attention to it, and I think it's based off of the fact that somebody brought it up in our coffee and stock sessions. If that was you or not, I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I think these larger growth stocks, anybody that had positions in them, took a loss because they didn't want to let them go, and I don't blame them because they're strong companies. It's just the market overall is not correlating with Main Street, and that's an issue because you're building that glass floor that I keep speaking about every morning. And we see things like this, downward pressure overall. Our entire coffee and stocks list was red this morning. And it sucks to see that because we've been closely following these trades. And like last week, a lot of them performed well. I know like things that have been hyped up like DPW and ZOM and stuff like that, those broke down. SNDL being one of those stocks that was expected to really break out at some point, broke down. Just a lot of things just breaking down across the board. So... but excuse me, sounds like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, if you know what I mean. Oh, here, 5 minutes from now it'll be 5 o'clock, so you know what that means. But we looked at Jamia. I'll go ahead and bring that up since you brought it up, Jay. That's what this is about, looking at what you want to look at. We kind of identified that before. On the 20, we actually looked at it on the coffee and stock sessions, and it was on this downward push, and we were stating that if we hit the 56.15, we were going to retest that 49.53, and we needed to confirm support above that, otherwise we were coming back down. Now what I hope doesn't happen is that the 49.53, which is what it's looking like with most trades that are falling back into these sideways channels that they were trading in before, is that those levels of support that we're shooting for are becoming levels of resistance. So that could be a concern moving forward with it, now being stuck inside of this sideways channel and having to work to break out of it again. Like, it's gonna need some catalyst to push things back up, unless you see a large surge coming from the stock market and whole reversing and going back to the upside. But you got to think about it. The SPY itself is sitting at all-time highs. Dow and Nasdaq, I'm not sure where they're at in their all-time high levels and stuff like that. But let's see, DJA or DJIA. What is it on TV? Is that DGI? Nope, that is not what I'm looking for. DGA. Let's do this. Dow Jones. Industrial average. Can't type now. End of the day, man. End of the day. It's that time. Yeah, there we go. All right. So let's see where the Dow Jones is. Are we breaking? We're constantly hitting new highs with it. It seems like that's on the weekly though. So we did have a pullback, along with everything else, of course. But it's still hitting new highs. Of course, I don't really follow Dow Jones. I don't know who really does. But Nasdaq, NDX, 100, 12. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we're about. What is that? I'm doing math in my head right now. We're about 1,000 points off the top of it, but Indy. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Anyways, so the fact that we're seeing all-time highs on these indexes, but we're seeing all-time high business closures and stuff like that. Crazy. I know unemployment's settling down a little bit. Market numbers are coming up as far as like certain industries and sectors and stuff like that. But unemployment is down because I feel like unemployment is down ultimately because businesses are closed down. There's not that many businesses on the market. Now, I could be wrong in how unemployment is calculated. But we're not even talking about people. When you speak about unemployment, you really got to dissect what that number shows you, and what it's telling you, because it's not accounting for people that didn't previously have jobs. And I can't remember how far it goes back to determine its rate, but I think there's a time frame on it and everything. But it's speaking to the conditions of the entire market and what I'm trying to focus on here. So this downward pressure is almost needed. It's just like inflation versus minimum wage. Inflation is up like 30-40%, and minimum wage hasn't been changed since like 2006, 2007, or 8 or something like that. Crazy. And even before that, it was like a decade before it. And so as long as inflation and the cost of living continues to climb, it has to correlate, and it's not. And then you have a loss of business and a loss of employment, or people that never were employed before all that was tracked, and blah blah blah, and you start accounting for all these economic indicators and stuff, and it starts to become a horrid picture in my eyes. Of course, the stock market doesn't care, but that's where the problem lies, is that all this is built off the backs of people, and we have machines running this, and that's why the stock market doesn't care, because all these algos are in play. But we need to pull the throttle back a little bit, and I think that's what we're seeing happen. In the Nasdaq, you're seeing the same correction we saw back in November and September. The SPY, let's see if we're seeing the same type of corrections. It looks like potentially seeing the type of correction that occurred in November, September, at least in that June, July era. That's what we're looking at. But things like this, I think, ultimately need to happen, and it's an opportunity. When bad things happen, it's always an opportunity to progress, no matter what you're doing. So something to keep in mind. Anybody got any other questions? Anybody got any other stocks? Probably about to go wrap up because it is 5 o'clock now, and you know what that means for me. Just to let you know, we will be doing our coffee and stock sessions at 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, to continue going through our coffee and stocks list, finding any opportunities in it, adding any potential new stocks to it that you guys want to add to it, and continue to track and review to find better opportunities. All I ask for in return is show your support by simply sharing with everybody else, however and whatever way is comfortable for you. But just show your support for the community, and I'll continue to show my support back for you guys and helping and discovering new trades. I am trying to incorporate a way where I can deliver trades to you that I'm pushing through my alert system outside of my personal point of view without losing value in my premium memberships and securing what they are receiving for their services or the services I'm providing them. If you haven't already, let me do this. I'm going to share my personal Facebook page. Send me a friend request so that you can join our free chat that we have on there. We also have Discord channel if that's where you prefer to be. Some of you may be coming from there already. In our Investors Talk community educational platform that we have there, free tools, resources to grow as a trader yourself, but also connect with others. But be sure to at least hit me up on Facebook so that you can get in our free chat that we have there. I know a lot of people come from Facebook or are on Facebook, so it's ease of access. We just talk opportunities, go over trades all day anyways in there. And I do share information there as well. But that's it for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'll save the rest for the coffee and stock sessions tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. Would like to see you all there. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for everybody that's been constantly with us and showing your support. I really appreciate it. Like I said, be sure to like and share. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you can get notified and when we do live trading sessions or reviews such as this one. I expect to do a weekly recap every week now. Although I want to do a weekly recap maybe on Friday and then maybe a Saturday coffee and stock session so we can focus on things going into the week to come. That way we can kind of keep it separate and we have more time to focus on the future versus going back over the past like we're doing now. But other than that, man, I appreciate you all being here. I'm not sure who still is in here with us, but thank you for hanging out with me on this Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you all stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow if you have the time, of course. But other than that, you can always review our sessions if you miss them. I will be creating daily playlists so that you can review all the videos that I release every day all in one swoop. You don't have to go digging for them and things of that nature. But other than that, man, thank you all for being here. I hope I was able to, provide you with some beneficial information going into, the future and next week with the trades that you have or looking to invest in or things that you pulled out on or should have and identifying those mistakes and stuff like that. That's what it's about. But other than that, thank you all. I'll catch you guys later.